Let's be honest, every guy wants to be respected. Not just liked, not just noticed, respected. The kind of man who walks into a room and instantly changes the energy. The kind women gravitate toward, the kind other men pay attention to, even if they don't say it out loud. But here's the question most never figure out. What actually makes a man high value? Is it looks, money, status? While those things might catch eyes, they don't hold attention. Real value is deeper. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you think. It's what you don't do that most other guys always seem to get wrong. If you've ever wondered why some guys seem to effortlessly attract high-quality women, build strong relationships, and succeed in nearly every area of life, while others constantly feel stuck, ignored, or overlooked, this video is for you. Because high-value men don't follow trends. They lead. They operate differently. And once you see how, you'll never want to go back to playing small. In this video, we're breaking down the exact behaviors and mindsets that separate high-value men from everyone else. No fluff, no cliches, just straight-up truth and practical insights you can use today. So if you're tired of being average, or worse, invisible, stick around. Because becoming a high-value man isn't about luck or genetics, it's about choice. And you're one decision away from starting that transformation. Ask any high-value man what gets him up in the morning and you'll never hear "I don't know." Purpose isn't a motivational poster, it's fuel. It's the reason he walks with intent, talks with clarity, and doesn't get swayed by every distraction that pops up. What separates him from the average guy is direction. He's not out here just reacting to life, he's designing it. Whether it's building a business, mastering a craft, leading a team, or pursuing a bold personal goal, he's moving towards something bigger than comfort. That drive creates momentum, and momentum, that's magnetic. Purpose creates presence. A man who's lit up from within doesn't need to prove himself. His ambition shows in the way he carries himself. He makes decisions faster, he wastes less time, and he attracts people, especially women, who want to be around that energy. On the flip side, when you don't have a purpose, you default to chasing approval. You latch onto whatever gives you quick validation, likes, texts, attention, and that kind of energy, it fades fast. So what are you building? What lights you up? What would you do every day if no one clapped for it? That's your compass. When you live with purpose, people feel it, without you saying a word, and that's where real value begins. Before we move into how high-value men handle emotions with absolute control, I've got one quick ask. If you're getting value already, take a second and hit that subscribe button. I'm on a mission to hit 10,000 subscribers, and your support helps keep this real, no-fluff content coming. Let's keep going. Here's a truth that most men ignore. Emotional control isn't weakness, it's power. High-value men aren't slaves to their moods. They don't lash out when frustrated, panic under pressure, or ghost people when things get uncomfortable. Instead, they stay grounded, calm, unshaken. This doesn't mean they suppress their emotions, it means they understand them. Emotional intelligence is about recognizing what you feel, why you feel it, and knowing how to respond without creating unnecessary damage. It's having awareness in heated moments. It's pausing before reacting. It's listening fully instead of interrupting with your defense. Most guys think being a man means hiding what they feel. But high-value men know that self-mastery starts with self-awareness. They're not afraid to be honest, but they don't dump emotional chaos onto others. They lead conversations with clarity. They de-escalate tension. They bring stability, not confusion. Think about the last time you lost your cool or spiraled after being ignored. Did it bring her closer, or did it push her away? Exactly. Women aren't drawn to drama. They're drawn to the guy who makes them feel safe. Safe to open up, safe to be real, safe to feel heard. That emotional safety builds trust faster than charm ever could. When you manage yourself, you manage outcomes. That's why high-value men win, not by being emotionless, but by leading with emotional strength. Master this trait, and people won't just respect you, they'll rely on you. A high-value man doesn't talk in circles, he speaks with purpose. Whether he's setting boundaries, expressing interest, or calling something out, his words land because they're clear, direct, and unapologetic. One of the biggest turnoffs for women is guessing what you actually mean. If you're too vague, too passive, or constantly backpedaling, you come off as uncertain. And uncertainty doesn't build attraction, it creates confusion. The high-value man avoids that entirely. He says what he means, and he means what he says. Assertiveness isn't about being loud, it's about speaking up without aggression. It's the confidence to say no without over-explaining, to ask for what you want without flinching, to stand firm without trying to dominate. It's about holding your position with calm certainty. You also won't catch him playing games. He doesn't wait 3 days to text back or try to be cryptic. He leads with clarity because he knows where he stands, and that makes him rare. And here's the twist. Being this straightforward doesn't scare quality women away. It draws them in. Because when you communicate clearly, you create safety. She knows what you're about, and that confidence is attractive. So if you've been softening your words to avoid tension, stop. Speak like a man who knows himself and watches how the world responds differently. High-value men don't tolerate just anything. They operate with standards, not just for others, but for themselves. Self-respect is their compass, and it shows in the choices they make every single day. When a man respects himself, it's obvious. He doesn't chase people who treat him like an afterthought. He doesn't stay in conversations that drain him. And he definitely doesn't beg for validation. Instead, he walks away from situations that don't align with who he is or where he's going. That doesn't mean he's arrogant. It means he has a filter. He chooses quality over chaos. He expects consistency. He gives respect, but only where it's mutual. This kind of mindset builds quiet authority. People don't question his limits because he enforces them without drama. If something feels off, he doesn't debate it. He makes a move. That decisiveness comes from knowing his worth. A man with standards doesn't just command attention, he commands respect. And that respect becomes the foundation of every relationship he allows in his life. If you've ever felt walked on, ghosted, or overlooked, ask yourself, have I been making room for people who don't meet my standards? Because once you start living like someone who values himself, you stop accepting anything that contradicts that, and the people around you will adjust accordingly. A high-value man never thinks he's finished. He's not chasing perfection, but he's always building. Mentally, physically, emotionally. He understands that growth isn't a phase, it's a lifelong standard. Here's what sets him apart. He doesn't improve to impress others. He does it because excellence is part of who he is. Whether it's learning a new skill, refining his mindset, or leveling up his health, he's not content with staying where he is. He invests in himself because he knows everything in his life, relationships, business, confidence, rises to meet that standard. That effort doesn't go unnoticed. Growth shows. When you walk differently, speak differently, or think sharper than you did 6 months ago, people sense it, especially women. They're drawn to that momentum, not because you're showing off, but because it's rare to find someone who's actually evolving. But here's the secret, it's not about grand gestures. Small, consistent steps build big shifts. Reading 10 pages a day, getting up an hour earlier, saying no to distractions. These habits compound, and over time they make you unrecognizable to the man you used to be. On the flip side, stagnation sends a clear message. You've stopped growing, and when your mindset is stuck, everything else slows down too. So ask yourself, where are you sharpening? Where are you stretching? Where are you challenging your own limits? High-value men aren't born that way. They're built through discipline, curiosity, and commitment to being 1% better every day. That's the work, and it always pays off. If there's one thing high-value men never compromise, it's their word. When they say something, it means something, and that consistency builds a reputation that outlasts looks, charm, or talent. Integrity isn't flashy, it's shown in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when no one would know if you cut corners or changed your story. But a man with integrity never trades long-term respect for short-term comfort. He does the right thing, even when it's inconvenient. And reliability? That's the follow-through. It's not just about showing up once, it's showing up again and again. When people count on him, he delivers. When plans are made, he keeps them. When he makes promises, they get fulfilled. That kind of dependability builds deep trust, and trust is the backbone of all high-quality relationships. In today's world, flakiness is common. People ghost, cancel, forget. So when a man consistently shows up with his actions matching his words, he stands out without even trying. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you can't, own it. The point isn't perfection, it's alignment. And that's what earns long-term respect. Because women don't fall for guys who talk big, they fall for the ones who follow through. Show me a man's friends and I'll show you his future. High-value men don't just hang out with anyone. They curate their circle with intention. Because they know their environment either sharpens them or slowly pulls them down. You'll never see a high-value man surrounded by chaos, drama, or people who make excuses. He surrounds himself with driven, grounded, and ambitious individuals. Not because it looks good, but because iron sharpens iron. He wants people around him who challenge him, hold him accountable, and push him forward. He's not afraid to walk away from relationships that drain him. Loyalty doesn't mean lifelong access, it means mutual growth. And if someone in his circle stops growing, stops respecting the standard, they don't get to stay close. This mindset isn't cold, it's disciplined. Your energy is limited. Who you give it to matters. Want to level up fast? Audit your circle. Who makes you sharper? Who dulls your edge? The company you keep reflects the standards you hold, and high-value men protect that standard fiercely. Money doesn't make you high value, but how you handle it says everything about your mindset. High-value men don't chase flash, they build freedom, and that starts with discipline. They know where their money goes, they have a budget, a plan, and long-term goals. They're not out here trying to impress anyone with unnecessary flexes. They're stacking value behind the scenes, investing, saving, building. Because they understand one thing most guys miss. Wealth is quiet. Stability is attractive. Being financially responsible isn't about being rich, it's about being in control. A man who manages his resources well shows that he can manage his life. That stability, it's magnetic. It tells the world you're not reckless, you're intentional. He avoids debt that doesn't serve him. He doesn't blow money chasing attention. And he's not afraid to delay gratification because he's playing the long game. You don't need a six-figure income to be high value, but you do need a strategy. Money amplifies who you are. So if you want to lead, start by leading your finances, because financial chaos is a red flag. But financial maturity, that's power. And high-value men carry it with quiet confidence. A high-value man treats his body like an asset, not an afterthought. He doesn't chase vanity, but he knows that how he looks, feels, and moves affects every area of his life. He takes care of his health not just to look good, but to lead a strong, disciplined life. He trains regularly, eats with intention, and keeps his energy sharp, not because someone's watching, but because it's his standard. Physical care reflects mental discipline. Presentation matters too. He dresses like he respects himself. That doesn't mean designer brands, it means clean, well-fitted clothes and attention to detail. He understands that the way you present yourself is the first signal people receive, and he makes it count. You don't need to be a model, but when you walk into a room looking like you care, people pay attention. It shows you have standards and you live by them. Your body is your first message, and high-value men make sure it speaks with confidence. Not perfection, not obsession, just care, effort, and pride in the man they're building, inside and out. The most powerful men don't need to talk down to anyone to prove their worth. High-value men respect everyone, not because of status, but because respect is a reflection of their own character. They treat the waiter the same way they treat the CEO. They listen without interrupting. They don't mock, belittle, or dominate. And when someone disagrees, they don't react with ego, they respond with poise. This doesn't mean they tolerate disrespect. Quite the opposite. Because they respect others, they expect it in return, and they enforce that boundary without raising their voice. True respect isn't performance, it's habit. It shows in everyday moments, holding eye contact, remembering someone's name, showing up on time. It's not about being overly polite, it's about being present and treating people like they matter. High-value men aren't trying to impress the room, but they leave an impression, because their respect earns it. And here's the truth. How you treat others is how people expect you'll treat them. If she sees you snapping at a stranger, she'll wonder what happens behind closed doors. Lead with respect and people won't. Just admire you, they'll trust you. Becoming high value isn't about acting, it's about becoming. Every choice you make sets your standard. If this resonated, hit like and subscribe. I'm pushing for 10,000. Which trait hit hardest for you? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. Let's build better men, one decision at a time.